Welcome back to Geek Leak. I'm your host, Brandon Conn, and this is On Brand with Brandon Conn. Batman continues to be the ex-boyfriend that I can't quit inadvertently looking up on LinkedIn using incognito mode. I just want to know that you're doing okay, because I'm doing great without you. Yeah, I'll be just fine. Anyway, the movie's post-credits Easter egg was a link to a website called ratalada.com, which, contrary to popular belief, was not a Batman trailer in which Ratatouille hides in Bruce Wayne's cowl and tugs on his hair to help Bruce fight crime as the new Rat Robin. The website was actually an ARG, or an alternate reality game, giving riddles for Batman fans to try and solve. If I'm being honest, I'm shocked that the die-hard fans of one of comic book's first and greatest detectives took close to a month to solve it. Guess they just needed dead parents and a fat inheritance to jog them along. The reward for their efforts was a video containing the least surprising deleted scene ever. I'll spare you literally the most drawn-out cliche, and ta-da! It's the Joker again! Played by squinty edgelord from Eternals, Barry Keoghan. They drag a mostly blurry, out-of-focus ripoff of Silence of the Lambs, while Keoghan pretty much brings nothing at all original to the table other than being a less twitchy rendition of Heath Ledger's portrayal. But I really shouldn't bag on Keoghan's unoriginality on this one, though. After all, with the amount of times the Joker's been portrayed, it might as well become a new tradition in acting, like saying, the Scottish play, or saying, break a leg instead of good luck, or saying yes instead of no, to being part of an exhaustingly long line of DC movies with extremely hit-and-miss results. Wizards of the Coast has announced that their new line for Magic the Gathering, Streets of New Capenna Commander decks, will be available in lower quantities than they initially figured. Wizards of the Coast cites supply chain issues, which is baffling to me because it's cardstock and ink. I would reach out to Wizards of the Coast to have them explain, but I feel like the quote will end up being, money, money, yeah, money, eat trash, nerd! We want to manufacture artificial scarcity! Which, maybe it really is supply chain issues. Just maybe. Maybe it is. But they already have artificial scarcity. They literally decide to only mint a couple of super stupid rare cards, per release. They're making their own currency. So, anyway, kind of a hat on a hat. But anyway, we'll move on. And, it's just that I feel like the quote is fairly accurate, given that it has been reported by comicbook.com that Wizards of the Coast is pushing to create a spin-off competitive D&D game, inspired by the HeroScape knockoff games Attack Wing and D&D Onslaught. It is said that the game will be announced in the third fiscal quarter of 2022, but I feel like I speak for most D&D gamers when I say that the HeroClix bargain tubs all over will become a little more crowded. A new tabletop role-playing game called Zweihander may be coming to a gaming shop near you. It has been called the Dark Souls of TTRPG. And most people, when they hear Dark Souls, even if they haven't played it, think a couple things. One, it's set in an extremely depressing and horrifying world. And two, you'll probably die a lot. Like, a lot. And as I read more about the rules and general gist of the game, I'll tell you all. Yeah, just about accurate. I would say so. Pretty fair comparison. Zweihander has a moral compass and sanity mechanic that could result in you, and this is actually part of the game, actually developing different psychological disorders including, but not limited to, chronic drinking, OCD, antisocial personality disorder / schizophrenia, and PTSD. Each disorder will change how your character is played, and frankly, given that this game is said to have several actions that require their own special table for you to roll and calculate accordingly, I feel that the psychological disorders are as much a prerequisite to play as much as it is a self-fulfilling prophecy. So, get ready for your local game shop to have yet another type of evangelist for an obscure game that literally no one ever wants to play. Now we turn to our anime and manga segment we call We've Wound Up a Woo! In yet another remake, Netflix will be putting out a new anime based off the fighting game series Tekken. The animation definitely looks top-notch, but I would be lying if I didn't tell you the thing I'm looking forward to most in the anime is Kuma. And if they don't have that damn bear in this anime, then they deserve to fail. Yeah, they deserve to fail. I don't give a damn about the rest of the Street Fighter copycat characters. I'm just there for the bear, bro. There for the bear! So, I'm going to give away some of my game here to the viewers out there. A lot of what I do is setting up Google alerts for several different search terms over the week, and then cobbling it together into this show. Well, I'm telling you right now that it is damn hard to report on anime and manga without Crunchyroll and or Sony being involved. It's like trying to boycott Nestle. You think 1 minute, great, I can easily avoid their rabbit's bottle diarrhea. Look, if it's not diarrhea, I don't know what it is. It's supposed to be chocolate milk, but it doesn't need to be refrigerated. Riddle me that. But then you also look at all of their different products and realize how much suffering actually goes into our shelves, goes into our houses. And here's the thing, it's not just animes that Sony owns, if that's not obvious. After doing a bit of research, Sony owns Sony Pictures Animation, which produced Adam Sandler's animated Meet the Munsters Abortion Hotel Transylvania, The Mitchells vs. the Machines, of course Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. We all know how much they love to dust off poor Spidey in general. They own so many companies and franchises, and I didn't even touch on the most glaring, obvious one of all, PlayStation. Some of you watching this, if you are watching this, have declared emphatically, "Duh, Brandon, you post-mortem Philip Seymour Hoffman." To which I'd reply, "That's very hurtful, YouTube viewer, but I don't have many viewers or subscribers right now, so do please keep watching." I guess my point is that we need to start paying a little more attention to these mergers out there. Even before Sony bought up Crunchyroll, they owned a lot of the media landscape as well as the anime scene. As far as ways we could take action, it's really hard to say. Sony is based in Japan, and it seems you can file complaints to the Federal Trade Commission, but they're not obliged to actually do anything about your complaint when it comes to mergers. They aren't elected, nor are they ordinarily paid much attention to. And this tirade started out a couple episodes ago as me complaining about underpaid animators and voiceover actors. But I think there needs to be a much larger conversation about media conglomerates owning way too much of the content we consume. This isn't intended to be a political show, but I will say in these situations it's unavoidable. We need to bring back trust busting. What would that involve? Who would that involve? I don't think I can tackle that in this single show quite yet, nor am I sure if I'd want to. After all, anyone watching, I'm sure, would not want my show to become yet another political YouTuber ranting about their gripes and woes about the political system and As exhausting as it is to even debate so many people's bad faith arguments out there, I don't want to step into that role either. So you're probably watching this and ready to comment, "Well, Brandon, why did you even bother going into all this if you have no solutions? You pretentious amalgamation of hipsters and neckbeards?" To which I'd reply, my self-esteem is already dismal, dear viewer, but please continue the abuse because I have very little comments on my videos, and full disclosure, I'm very near climaxing. But anyway, we'll go ahead to our tech and gaming segment. Connection. Netflix has purchased a small independent video game studio called Boss Fight Entertainment. This is roughly around the third gaming studio that Netflix has bought in the last year or so, in their attempt to break into the gaming industry, and if their games are anything like their TV shows and movies, amateur game creators, dust off your RPG Maker game with the extremely lazy and derivative plot and prepare to get greenlit. You get a game, we're all gonna get our games made! Yeah! Yeah! So, there does seem to be some trouble on the indie game scene though, with 3 studios being investigated for emotional abuse at the hands of leadership. In the article on Eurogamer.net, the 3 studios named were Mountains, Fulbright, and Phenomena. And let's start with Mountains, who was being led by Ken Wong, who was stated to be a very cruel person in a position of power who liked to make people feel bad to make himself feel better. Sounds like a lot of supervisors. But the abuse was so prevalent that there were enough resignations to cause their publisher, Annapurna, to have all 7 of their board members vote unanimously to fire Ken Wong. And some out there may be thinking, cool, they did the right thing and canned this rancid little ass clown. But that's after Annapurna was approached for a meeting and were told, without strong personalities, games don't get made. That's what they told the staff that were trying to come to Annapurna and tell them about the abuse that they were suffering at the hands of Ken Wong. And that sounds like a nightmare for their staff, on par with being in a chess club and saying to the principal, "Hey, Chad from the football team made himself captain and won't stop giving me purple nurples." And the principal replying, "Well, without strong personalities abusing you, how do you expect to beat that little girl from Queen's Gambit?" And then we go to the indie studio Fulbright, whose co-founder, Steve Gaynor, stepped down because of his abusive behavior towards women in particular. It was said by Polygon.com that several people refused to speak out against him due to his clout and fear that they would be blacklisted in the industry. But several of them would end up quitting the industry anyway. Can you imagine dealing with someone who is such a dick that they chase you away from something that most people dream about? Something that there are several fake college scams and or advertising blitzes based on enticing people for it when it comes to making video games for a living. I'm not famous enough yet to not have to wonder if a past employer may be called as a reference, but as someone who has left jobs on the last day looking like Andy Dufresne in Shawshank Redemption escaping prison covered in crap, I genuinely hope that Steve Gaynor is the one who gets blacklisted, because no one, woman, man, or any other gender, should be treated the way he treated people. And the last studio we'll talk about is Phenomena, whose toxic piece of garbage in question was Robin Hunicki, who was said to be emotionally abusive, often using sensitive personal information to degrade her staff. The investigation is ongoing, but really, regardless of what comes out, This problem is symptomatic of the larger problem in workplaces of leadership being toxic weasels. There needs to be way more unionization out there because no one takes these people to task. These stories may result in these foul, festering penis pimples being asked to step down, but there was also a pattern of those with the power to stop these issues allowing the problem to continue far too long. You don't get to elect your manager, and if they're a nightmare, you'll be lucky to just be able to quit without wondering if you're going to get sandbagged for other opportunities. In January, quality assurance workers at Raven Software formed the first video game industry union at a major North American studio called the Game Workers Alliance. And these industries are reeling from this. We need to support this endeavor because if we want our dreams to continue being dreams, not squashed by strong personalities, we need to all recognize the power of unions to make our workplaces more bearable. That's it for this week of Geek League News. Be sure to like and subscribe to our content across the different platforms, including checking me out on Twitch, where I'll stream arts, crafts, video games, and dungeon making. So, until next week, I'm Brandon Conn, and game over, man! Game over!